Thank you so much. I mean, really, thank you, everyone. Clark, Steve, tremendous story. I mean, my God, that was powerful. I don't usually get emotional during my talks, and now I'm already feeling pretty worked up. So, thanks, Steve. Alex, yeah, thank you for everything. All the food's been amazing. So really, here we're going to get into. Can I get the slides up, and then just the green button, right? So really, I'm going to share with you the first half of this presentation is going to be, kind of behind the scenes, how we've been able to do everything that we've been able to do. So what we've done, disclaimer, may not work for any of you. However, it could work for you in a different way, or it could work exactly the same way it worked for us. But I want you to take away, just want everybody to keep an open mind and just think about how could you apply this to your business. So it may not be the exact same way that we're doing this. It may not be YouTube. It could be something else. But what is it? Is it KV Core? Is it open houses? Whatever your superpower is, I believe everyone in here has been in real estate way longer than I have. So all of you probably have a main source or way that you've generated business that you've perfected. And so think about that. If that's open houses, if it's KV Core, if it's cold calling, if it's door knocking, you have a superpower in real estate. The thing is that how do you pass that to somebody else? And right now, probably a majority of people do that through one-on-one. And what we want to focus on is one-to-many. And so how you document that, how you put that in place, and how you develop a process around that so it's duplicatable, that's how you're going to grow, and that's how you're going to you can get these types of results. And I know many of you have, but this will either take you from one level to the next. So just keep an open mind about how this would apply. And first of all, I want to give a shout out to my partner, Travis Plum. He was supposed to be here, but he was unable to make it. And, what I say is that I collected all the clients and he converted them. So we've got a very unique partnership to where I've focused on generating the business and then passed them on to him. And he's been able to close quite a bit of it, which is the reason that we have the production levels that we have. So just as Brent said, here's the story. I'm going to get into a lot more of the story on the back end. The second half of the presentation will be what you'll see how you can apply to your business, whether you're in landscaping or whether you're in real estate or title. I know there's a few people here from a couple of different industries. But I sold 0 homes in 2020. Wasn't even in the business. And actually started the YouTube channel, got into the business December 5th of 2020. That's whenever the first YouTube video came out. And that takes time to build. So I sold 0 homes in Q1. And this is what's really happened. So think about it. It took 3 months to close the first 2 transactions. In April of 2021, we closed the first 2 transactions from YouTube. So over the next 15 months, numbers through July, this is what's happened. We generated 1,696 leads. We've done 217 transactions. That's at a 13% conversion rate. We've done $121 million in volume, and that's $3.6 million in commissions. Just from a YouTube channel. It's all I've done. I've done nothing else in real estate. Focused on one thing and implemented it and tried to become the absolute best at it. Now, here's what's happened. This has also led into agent attraction as well. So, and this applies whether you're in EXP or not. If you're not in EXP, you're probably still trying to build a team of some sort, so it doesn't really matter. But the thing is that if you're a brokerage, you either going to scale one-on-one or you're going to scale one-to-many. So what we've done, and this has allowed some really amazing opportunities in the past 18 months or so. Whenever you have that type of success very quickly, you get in front of some people very quickly, which is pretty cool. Actually spent the last 2 weekends ago with Ryan Serhant and going to be sharing the stage with Ryan Serhant a week before build. So think about that. It's funny because I've watched Ryan Serhant for the last 10 years on $1 Million Listing. I'm not a TV watcher, but I've always loved real estate shows, and I've always loved real estate. I've done it as a hobby. I did some fixer flips here or there. I had 7 rentals at one time, but I just never really wanted to be a real estate agent. Sorry, but respectfully, I never really wanted to be the real estate agent. So, but now these opportunities have come up. We've been on Tom Ferry's podcast. I've shared the stage with Tom Ferry, and so many other opportunities have come from this. So So this is what I want to break down for you on the first hand is once you have something in place, you want to be able to convey that message. And once you start an online presence, you want to have something where you can direct traffic to. Because we can do things organically, and we'll show you on the back end how we've built YouTube organically. But if you want to do something faster, then you can put some ad spend behind it, right? You can put a little bit of money behind it, or you want to have a place to where you direct traffic. But this is where you want to think about what are you best at. This is where your superpower comes into play. You think about if you look into EXP, there's some of the top agent attractors that have built their businesses. You think of Ricky Carruth. I mean, he teaches cold calling. But what he does is he has a place for people to land, right? It's because they're looking for information. Ultimately, people are looking to improve their production. That's what attracts them. What we always say is that EXP is icing on the cake. But if you can help people improve their production, that's what a lot of people are looking for answers for. Or if you can help brokerages with retention because they have problems with their agents, doing production, and you can do that, that's how you're going to attract the brokerages. So what is it? If you can teach KV Core, I was thinking about it whenever Alex and Steve were talking about that. I was like, you got a course. That's it. You've got a superpower. Kyle Handy, one of the top agent attractors in EXP, over 100 people he's recruited. What does he do? He teaches KV Core and other systems. And you know what he does? He does it on YouTube, and he does it for free. But ultimately, he has a landing place as well. He has a place to drive people, to funnel them into, to direct that traffic. Because otherwise, you're going to be out here just running around trying to, catch mosquitoes or fireflies, whatever it is you want to. And so you want to be able to drive that traffic into one place. So here you got to think about what is the catchphrase? What is it something that would be an attraction point? What would be something that somebody would find intriguing, okay? And so that's how, for us, once we were able to close a couple of transactions, over the next 90 days, we were able to do about $150,000 in commissions because once we close 2, the next month we close 3, then we close 5. It starts to compound. So a lot of you got that book in your packet, right? The Compound Effect. We're going to talk a lot about compounding today. And so as that grows, we're able to do $150,000 in commissions in that next 90 days. So if you think about that, what is that attraction piece to an agent? I mean, a lot of agents, usually their first goal is to make 6 figures. So if you think about something, well, that's usually in a 1-year time frame. So if we could show somebody to do that in 100 days, would that be intriguing? Would that be enticing? Would that capture somebody's attention? So think about what it is that you do, how that relates to production, and how you can convey that message into pretty much a one-liner is the first part of that. And then you see what we've done is we've tied pain points to behind that, right? Because a lot of people will run away from pain quicker than they'll run towards success, right? And so this is something that a lot of people, when they get into the business or they start out or they're trying to generate business, you can only invest time or money. And a lot of people don't, they get into the business without a lot of money. So that's why they resort to investing in things with their time. And that's why they stick to cold calling and door knocking and calling FSBOs and expireds, doing open houses, because that doesn't really cost them anything but their time. But it's also the main reason why a lot of people get out of the business. It's hard. It's hard to do that. So if we can show somebody, okay, if you can generate business, you can attract business without having to do those other things. You see that? So you want to think about the second piece of that. What are the pain points that relate to what it is you're trying to help somebody to do? So, and you say without ever, or so you can, or so you don't have to. And so you have a simple phrase there that allows them to understand exactly what they're doing and why they want to gain access to the training, right? And so this is where you're going to build some sort of training that is a prerequisite to what it is you want to ultimately gain their attention towards, right? So, and that's on the first half, but otherwise, very simple, very easy, and just apply it to your superpower in real estate. And this is what's going to help attract people to wanting to work with you, because ultimately they want to learn and develop skills. On the second page of this, I broke this up into 2 pages, but ultimately it's about as simple as possible. So we have a short video on there for, you want to have something because video does attract, and video on any page is going to convert better than anything else. You're also going to hear video be a reoccurring theme as we go through this. So we have that in there. I'll play that here in a second. But we have just a few bullet points on there. So think about a couple of the main high-level topics that your offer can provide to somebody. And so we list that out. Now also we have the social proof on there, places that we've been featured, podcasts, speaking events, things like that. So that can be built up. You know, you have a nice little logo here for Tahoe Mastermind. So for those that speak here, you think about that opportunity. Okay, may not mean much to somebody, but it is a third-party validation. So on here, what we've been able to do is, this is something that if you can do third-party validation, always better. This is why we record everything, because you never know when you can capture a moment, especially whenever somebody's saying nice about you. But if you go on these podcasts, you go on to opportunities or where you have these speaking events, or when you come to events like this, you know, all that can become part of that third-party validation. And so this is the video that people, whenever they come to that landing page, they're going to find first. So I'm going to play this real quick.
Today's guest.
Oop. Can you get the volume?
Today's guest has made 6 figures in 6 months. Actually, he's done way more than that. To introduce him, I thought I'd do something different. I want to read what I'm going to write about him in the 2nd edition of YouTube Secrets. Levi Lascisak picked up a copy of YouTube Secrets, and he started his business as a real estate agent, sharing information about Dallas, Texas housing information and neighborhood tours. He gets a few hundred to a few thousand views. Though this may seem modest in terms of impressions and might not make him super famous, it's created massive traffic, and he's been able to convert it into buyers for his real estate business, leading to, yes, $1 million revenue business in his first year.
64 transactions, now we are at year 2, already at 64. He should be asking me a question. All of you should be asking he and his partner questions.
Our average view duration is 6.5 minutes. So I mean, in one sitting, they're getting locked in.
Y'all, Levi, he's from Dallas. Well, he's handsome as all get out.
True.
He is like the YouTube king. The guy is the YouTube king. Listen to me. He has done $22 million in volume from his YouTube channel in the last, 8 months or something. The guy is absolutely the king of YouTube. Levi, I love you.
So, I remember those stories. That's the thing. Facts tell, stories sell. If you treat YouTube like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby. If you treat it like a business, it'll pay you like a business. Once that first deal came under contract at 90 days, it is completely snowballed from at that standpoint. And now, since March 1st, Benji, we have done 50 transactions.
That's crazy.
50 transactions. That's totaled. We've broken over 25 million in production.
Wow.
But what is so amazing about his journey is simply the fact that he began uploading videos not even a year ago, right? Wasn't your first video December 2020?
December 5th, 2020, yes.
So not even a year ago, and yet YouTube is his primary lead generating platform.
You guys know I try and bring people that are, I know, practitioners first and foremost, but we put a lot of people that implement YouTube. But I think Levi has a very different perspective.
Levi is legit. He is the creator of the Living in Dallas YouTube channel. They have over 353,000 views, over 40,000 watch hours, over 4,400 subscribers, and hey, most importantly, they can source $25 million in real estate business directly to their channel. Welcome, Levi!
What's up, Levi? First of all that value is killer, and Atlanta was awesome too, so I appreciate your time on that.
Hey, thanks, Levi. I appreciate so much your time.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Levi, you guys are superheroes. Thank you so much for doing this.
Again, thank you, Levi.
Thank you so much, Levi. This was very impressive.
Levi's amazing.
If you have more than 1 year left in your real estate career, you should be on YouTube. So think about that. Now that's a collection, that is third-party validation. So when somebody comes to that website, they're gonna see that it's not me talking, that's other people talking about you. Now, the only reason that we've been able to even get that much in the last 18 months is because I've taken massive action. Nobody is going to promote you better than you. And that's not from an ego standpoint, that's from a work and hustle standpoint. one of those events, the first event last year, the first event I spoke at in Atlanta was because of a Clubhouse room. Anybody heard of Clubhouse? Started up, really during COVID. I got in there, just started talking sometimes about YouTube. Well, the thing is that they were putting on an event. This is whenever, things kind of started to come back, and it was one of the first events. And so one of the real estate rooms that I hung out in and listened to, and I said, they were going to do an event. And I said, well, I'm going to go. And I just said, I'm going to go just to meet people and network. Now, what happened is that they actually invited another speaker on YouTube to be there. But because that person canceled last minute, they looked at the roster and saw who else was going to be there. They saw me on the roster, and Giselle, who is a coach, and was putting on the event, she saw my name on the roster, and so she called me and said, hey, I noticed you're going to be at our event. Would you like to speak on YouTube? And that's the first opportunity I had. And from there, I got invited to the next opportunity and the next opportunity. And so this year in 2021, the goal was to get to as many conferences and trainings, real estate and video related, as possible. And every single one of them, now that takes time, money, and effort to do that. But most people look at today's cost versus tomorrow's value. A lot of people look at a bill ticket today and not understand the value that that's going to return them. So I knew if we're going to get out there, we've got to meet people. We've got to get face to face, because at these conferences, it could be your only chance to ever get in front of the right people, because they could be holed up in Alaska. They could be in the corporate office, some other state. And you know what? They become accessible at these events. They're at the bar having a drink. They're at the pool hanging out. They're on the beach. They're in between sessions. So every single event that we've gone to has led us to the next opportunity, the next relationship, the next, just that's what's gotten us noticed more and more and more, because we've been able to shake hands. If I had not gone to shareholders, I wouldn't have met Clark Broom, who I didn't know. And I didn't know he knew me. And thanks to Brent, because Brent had me on one training and Clark was on that training, and then Clark saw me at shareholders, and Clark said, Levi, I love your stuff, man. Would you like to come to Tahoe? I was like, sure. What's going on there? He's like, hey, we're doing an event. I was like, okay.
I want to say something here. He came to Cabo with nobody in his group, with no real estate success. He met people on the beach. He met people in Cabo, and he sent me a video after Cabo. He goes, you really don't know me, but here's what I'm going to do, and I know talk is cheap. We'll see. A year later, he sends me a video and says, here's what I did. He put it in the massive action. So he was you, and this is your event. This is your special moment in time. And he's telling you need to go to Build, which is in like 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Anyways, I just it's neat to see what you said came full circle. And then look where it's taken him when you back it up with the action and passion. No one's going to do it for you. You totally got this. And you're going to cheer you on all the way.
So let me add a little context to that. I met Brent January of 2021, a month after I started the YouTube channel. I met him in Puerto Rico. So the backstory is that I've known Michael Reese. For those that know Michael Reese, I've known Michael Reese for 20 years. And he's been trying to get me into real estate for 18 of those years. Again, never wanted to be a real estate agent, but he just moved to Puerto Rico. We went out January 2021, and of course, I had made the transition at that time, and I'll get into that. But I met Brent there. We went to lunch, and I'm hanging out, and I told Brent, probably didn't know who I was, but nicest guy in the world. And I just said, yeah, we started this YouTube channel, 1 month old. I actually took my first call from the channel was in Puerto Rico. Then when we were at that lunch, I stepped away and went behind that the Ritz-Carlton lunch place and was like sitting on the grass on my laptop doing a Zoom call. Yeah. So we met there, and I told Brent, hey, just started this YouTube channel, getting involved in real estate. And Brent was like, all right, cool. Let me know how that goes. And now the thing is and I met. We went to dinner this night. Is Kathy here yet?
She's coming up.
Okay. So I met Kathy, and Kathy was just, I know most of you have met Kathy, but if you haven't, you meet those people that just give you the eyes and just know that they're locked in. They're dialed in. They're interested in you. They want to know more. And she's a questioner, She starts asking a lot of questions.
Not questionable. She asks them a lot of questions. Yeah. I just want to clarify.
And so she was like, oh, and I was like, well, just got into real estate, starting this YouTube thing. She's like, cool. Well, we're at dinner. Well, there was a live YouTube webinar that night, and I'm still learning. I mean, I'm still learning today, so don't get me wrong. But I was learning, and there's a live webinar. We're at dinner. I'm with dinner with Michael Reese, Jay Kinder, Brent Gove, and Tim Harris, a couple of other people there. Rock stars, right? People you want to sit at dinner with and learn from. But you know what I was doing? I was sitting there on my iPhone with headphones in because, you know what, they're all talking about, big money things. And I was so focused, I said, you know what, as much as I want to be in that conversation, I'm not there yet. I can't go from 0 to 1,000. I need to go to 0 to 100. And this live webinar, it could be my only chance that I may learn something specific about YouTube that could help my business right now. And so I was sitting there, felt bad about it, but at the same time was focused. And Kathy was sitting there beside me, and she's sitting there going, she's kind of like, Levi, what's going on? What are you doing? And I just said, there's this live webinar. I don't want to miss it. I'm learning. I'm just kind of learning right now. And she's like, yep, that was it. And she was just like, okay. She's like, well, I admire that. She goes, you got to do your thing. And when we went to Cabo, that was the thing. So I didn't go to.
I just want to say one thing. How did you get to Puerto Rico? Did we beg you to come? Or
No.
How did you end up there?
Michael invited me, and I said, sure. Even though I didn't know what.
He just got on a plane and flew to Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And hung out with 6 guys, and that had an impact. Then you go to Cabo.
Yep. And at Cabo, what I never told you this part either was Brent. Because I like to wait for things to come full circle, And I've got something on my sleeve later on. But, it's just muscles. No. The funny thing was, though, that Brent and Gene Frederick were on stage at Cabo. And Gene said, he goes, guys, if you want to be on this stage, you need to come tell us. You need to let us know. He goes, we like that stuff. And I was standing up at the back, didn't even have a seat. And I'm standing up at the back, and I was like, okay, all right. And guess what? Brent comes off a stage. He goes around the whole back of the crowd, and he's standing right. And I'm standing there. I'm watching the next speaker, and I'm going, oh. I'm like, hey. I was like, hey, Brent. Brent's like, hey, yeah. Who are you? and I said, hey, Brent. I said, we need to be on stage next time.
I remember that.
And he goes, okay. He goes, send me a video. And I go, oh, I can do that. I've been making videos for months now. So that was it. So I sent Brent a video, and all of that has been a cascade of events as well.
It is.
Yep.
Give him a hand. It's totally out.
But if I had not been at Cabo, again, I wouldn't have heard them say that. I wouldn't have heard them tell that, and I wouldn't have been able to meet Brent. And then even though Brent didn't remember at that time that I was there in Puerto Rico, once I sent that video to him and he actually watched it, that's what shocked me, is that he actually watched it. He did what he said he would do. And the thing was that there was an event in Dallas. I had no clue that Brent was even speaking there. But what do? I got myself and our whole team in Dallas to go because I'm like, this is a one-day event. It's about real estate. We're going to go regardless. All we knew is Glenn Stearns was going to be there, and that was it, really. I think that's how they promoted it, is meet the undercover billionaire, Glenn Stearns. So I was like, let's go to that. I had no clue Brent was going to be there, and he had watched that video 2 days before getting there. And then, Brent, once he gets on something, he was just, and because I was at that event, then it was all full circle from there. So that's where Brent was like, I watched your video, it blew me away, absolutely amazing. And then half of his talk on stage there, he talked about us, which was really cool, and it was really cool. So, all of that comes around, but it's because we continually show up, meet people, make the right connections, put ourselves out there, and go from there. So what happened is that, once we built that out, and really this goes to Travis, because I didn't have a huge digital marketing background, but Travis, my partner, did. And he's like, look, as soon as we have something together, we need to package that up. This is what's going to help us on the agent attraction side. And what we need to do is help people build out their channels. And whenever we did this, we only had about 1,000 subscribers at the time on the channel, but again, when we generated $100,000, we thought, okay, well, that's something, there's enough there as an attraction model to put out there. And so what we did is that, then if you're going to run ads, if you're going to have spend money on marketing, first of all, you never have a marketing budget. You should have a testing budget. And the testing budget is what gets you to spend as much as possible once you can do that. Because if you can spend $1 and get 3, 4, 5, or 6 back, why would you put a budget on that? But you want to test because not everything works the same. So you got to make sure that you have a good return first. So what we did is we went out, we actually hired a company, and this is something else that has helped us scale as well, is instead of really trying to figure out a lot of stuff on our own, is we just spend the money to hire. And that's something that what we're doing, we committed to this year as well, is instead of buying a property, which I think is a smart choice, nothing wrong with that, but instead of saying, hey, we're going to take $100,000 and put it down on a rental property and we're going to get that and start we're like, no, we're spending everything we can on marketing this year. We're doubling down on us, on investing in other people, on coaches, on people that have already been there, done that, have the t-shirt, have the experience. That's what we're doubling down on. So we hired this company $15,000 to help us build our ad out. So, and what we did is we recorded 6 different intros. So they copywrote the back end for us, which this turns out to be a 6-minute ad. I'm not going to play the whole thing because if you go to our YouTube channel, you'll probably get targeted after this anyways. So you can watch it there. But the front half, we recorded 6 different versions of 2 minutes to see which one was the best one. We narrowed it down to 2. So after we ran the 6-1, we ran the same testing budget to all 6, but narrowed it down to 2 because 4 of them didn't perform as well as the other 2. So you also want to get the best opportunity there. And so this is where, first of all, you notice how if you're going to run something, did you know that 70% of people begin watching videos or go onto apps with the volume off? Did you know that? Yeah. So why do you think as soon as we have an ad start out, we have text on there? And if you're a real estate agent, does that speak to you? Exactly. On top of that, I don't know, we just decided to do something different out in the neighborhood, walking around, which it looks exactly the way our YouTube videos are. So we're creating familiarity on there as well. But again, wanted something a little bit different, but we want that to have there, you want to have text on there as well, just like subtitles. And this is kind of the start. I'll just play a little beginning of this.
Hey, if you're a real estate agent and you're not generating high quality leads every single day free from YouTube that are calling you, texting you, and basically begging you to work with them, then you definitely want to listen up.
That's right, because in this video, we're going to show you our key secrets on exactly how to optimize your YouTube channel and the exact videos that we shoot that help us get 2 to 3 leads every single day ready to buy. And the best part is we don't spend any money on advertising, and you'll never have to cold call or door knock ever again.
Hi there, my name is Travis.
All right, so that's the start out, right? And we've had people tell us time and time again, your ad is different than everybody else. But you'll notice too, now the thing is that for those of you that are in EXP, you can't run ads directly to EXP, right? You can't do that. So what we're doing is we're attracting people that want to grow their production. And ultimately, that's the way the business model works anyways. EXP has an amazing business model. I believe the best business model in real estate. But it doesn't work if you don't have producing agents, right? And that's what we're looking to do is we want to help. We want to find people that want help with production, want to grow their businesses, or even brokers that need help with their team and growing their production. And we know this is a pain point because now, again, people, as much as they have been successful doing it some of these ways, they're effective, but are they the most efficient as well? And so here, and then we just built a couple of print ads, and so this is the type of ad that comes with that, or these little ads that start to follow you around. You know, you ever look at a pair of shoes, and then every website you go after that, it just kind of pops up there and there. So this is very inexpensive to do, but again, I don't recommend this until you're ready to do this. So it really depends on, and again, where we didn't have any budget in the beginning. That's the other reason why I started YouTube, is because YouTube is free, and I knew it just going to invest in my time. So from there, but as soon as we started generating some real estate income, the first thing we started to invest in was, okay, how do we start building this stuff out? How do we build out the attraction? Because for us, the attraction part is always the end goal. We know it's going to take time to build that over time, but it's like we need to start now. And we need to get started and move on there. So this is just things that build up in there. But what would happen is that they'd go from there and they click on a link and they go to a webinar. Well, I mean, we run webinars and Zoom calls all the time. So once they click on here, they would go to a webinar that I host. I still do this. I still host a live webinar twice a week, sometimes once a week, but minimum once a week, just depending on travel. But, you know, I'll do webinars. I did one Wednesday night before coming here. I usually do it on Mondays and Thursdays. I found the best time is 1 p.m. Central Standard Time for us, Mondays and Thursdays. And because I was traveling here on Thursday, I did it Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And I can't tell you how many I've done at 7 p.m. I mean, look at Brent. Brent's doing Zoom calls, offered all of you guys Zoom calls at 10 p.m. at night. So that means he's still up. He's still willing to pour into people. He's still building his business. And so you got to think about that. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to go through in the first 12, 24, 36 months of this business? Because I believe you have opportunity here to set yourself free if you put in absolutely everything in the beginning. But look at, I mean, Brent's been doing this for several years now, and I think he's still going all in, you know, so he's building something a lot bigger. But this was my call to action, was at the end of the webinar, is I would say, hey, book a call if you'd like to learn more on how you can possibly partner with us for free. Because what you also want to look at is once you build your product, the whole reason you want to build this course on KV Core, you want to build a course on open houses, you want to build a course on cold calling, the whole reason when you do that is for two reasons. Number one, when you bring people into your organization, you want to give that to them because now you have a digital pathway that they can follow you that does not involve you. You made it once, but guess what? It can be watched by 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, and you can give them the baseline. So instead of somebody coming into your group asking you 1,000 questions, you say, hey, this is all in a training. You can go through that, and guess what? They're going to have 1 or 2 questions at the end, maybe. All you need to do is clarify. And so this is a duplicatable process that you can do. And so that way you can have something to give them that they know. Now, on top of that, you're going to have this for people that don't want to be a part of your organization because it's going to happen. There's some people that are just like, look, I've been with KW for 25 years. I'm staying. Okay, well, if you offer that at a cost, at a price, you put a price tag to it, guess what? Now you pay for your ad spend. Your ad spend becomes free at that point because if you have a valid offer, then the people that don't join the organization will buy because people will invest in training. And so that pays for all the ad spend. So here's the option. Now, what I would do, this was my mistake in the beginning, is at the end I would say, hey, book a call if you want to learn more, how you can partner with us or how you can get the training possibly at no charge. Now, that's where this was my calendar, and this is what would happen on my calendar, is you look at this partner call, see partner call, partner call, partner call, partner call, partner call, partner call, partner. Every single blank in my schedule, people would book a partner call. But then guess what happened whenever I got on that partner call? It was a 45-minute to an hour call. Because why? First of all, nothing we have is tied to EXP. So in that case, I had to find out where are they at in their business, what are they doing, are they open for change, would you consider that? By the way, we're with EXP, would you like to talk about that? And guess what? You'd get a lot of people say, oh man, okay, I'm not really interested in that. So what I learned real quick was I was like, okay, first of all, this is taking all my time, all my spare time, whatever little gap I had, they would find it, and they would plug it away. Great conversations. You would find it, you would attract a couple of people, but at the same time, too much of a time constraint. So this is where I moved into this, as to where I was doing these webinars. And this is an example of how many people register. Actually, this was just last week. This is what happened. This is the Wednesday before I came to Tahoe. So we had 78 people. I think 78 people registered for this one. 75 people registered for this one. So Brent said, you want to talk to 100 people, right? 10 people in 10 days? It's like, all right, well, cool. We got 150 people in 2 days. And really, I'm going to talk to them within a 2-hour time frame. So again, and remember, the reason we did this is because I don't have 20 or 30 years in the real estate business. Brent has 20, 30 years of relationships. So if I was Brent, I would absolutely do what he did, and I would call those people, and I would have called everybody yesterday. So if you haven't called people that you know in the business, you better call them first. That is your warmest market, right? That is your biggest opportunity. And if they're your friends, why wouldn't they take a look? right? And so you have that opportunity, but I didn't have 20 years in the business. I don't know every real estate broker in Texas. I don't know every agent in Texas. I knew zero. I knew Michael Reese. I knew he was trying to get me into real estate for the last 18 years, and I kept telling him no. So then I go to this webinar to where here is where I break out the call to action. And so this is where I thought, this is where I'm going to offer everything up front in the call so that I know the people that want to jump on the call are the serious ones, okay? So what I did is that they get text reminders, so whenever they register, everything goes through a phone number. They get text reminders, build up, it's like, hey, your call's in 24 hours, hey, your call's in 6 hours, hey, your call's in 1 hour, hey, we're on Zoom. So they get that from these phone numbers, from this text message. And so they already have the phone number. I know that because I also ask them for 24-hour confirmation. And I always get a thumbs up. And I say, hey, send me a thumbs up or got it to let me know, right? Path of least resistance. So from there, at the end of the call, I'm just saying this. I'm just laying it all out on the table. I'm saying, look, here it is. Here's your options. Here's what you want to do. Text me number 1. You want the do-it-yourself option. If you want everything we have, which we've packaged the YouTube course as a digital course. So what I did is I structured what I know now, all the skills I learned, and built a digital course to teach other people, to teach any agent. And really this course, just like Brent said, you could be a landscaper, you could be a financial services person, you could be a doctor. I mean, whatever you want to do, this applies to it, but this shows you the blueprint of starting your own channel from scratch, and for in this case, how to build a real estate business, how to attract clients, because what happened is the reason why I was able to do that is because whenever I was looking at moving into real estate, I was like, well, how am I going to make a name for myself? How am I going to brand myself? Nobody knows who I am. I'm competing with every single broker in Dallas that's been in the business for 10, 20, 30 years. And what am I going to do? I started looking at all the agents that were online. I knew I wanted to attract business, but how? I knew that would be, okay, through social media, but everybody's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Well, I'm looking at those platforms. Guess what everybody's doing? They're making content about real estate. They're helping consumers understand the real estate process. And I'm like, well, I don't understand any of that. I've never wrote a contract. So how am I going to do that? Am I going to start educating people on the appraisal process and the escrow process and how to do this and how to do that? So that didn't feel right to me. But what I realized was that, I've been in Dallas for 20 years. I know Dallas upside down, left and right. I can talk about Dallas, and I got to think about all the people that are looking to move to Dallas. And what do? They search Dallas before they even decide to even think about hiring a real estate agent. So if I can just put that information in front of them, that's how I can attract people. So now I'm taking something, that's what the code we cracked, and I'll get into that on the second presentation, is the fact that now all you have to do is you can start anywhere in your market, wherever you're at, and you don't have to be the real estate expert. So I don't care if you're brand new or you've been in the business for 10 years, this is a different way to attract clients because now we're just educating them on what it's like to live there. And so with that, there's value in that regardless, whether they want to join us or not. So I say, hey, if you want the do-it-yourself option, $19.97. You want the done-with-you option where we will give you the course, not only that, but then we will build everything out for you. We'll build your channel, your art, your descriptions, your tags, and then we'll even do the first 12 videos on the editing, all that side for you. So you get exactly what we've done. All you have to do is film the content, right? Path of least resistance, $39.97. Or I say this, you can partner with us at EXP because that's where we're brokered through. Now, this call is absolutely not a recruiting call to EXP. We don't recruit to EXP. We're building an organization of like-minded agents that want to grow their production on video through YouTube. And if that's you and you want to talk about that and just see what that may look like, then text me number 3. We'll schedule a private call and we'll see if we're even a good fit for each other. But I don't want to get into this on this call because this call is all about YouTube. So it's very simple, very subtle, and it's just throwing it out there. And then this is what happens after that webinar. See what texts come in? Number 3. 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 Right? This is what happens. And then we get number 2. Well, if I get a number 2, that's somebody that says, yeah, sell me this. So whatever training you have, and that's why you have to package your superpower into something that is sellable because this is going to pay for the ad spend, because again, we know that not everybody's going to join or want to join. So they say number 2. Number 1, okay, I know that's $2,000. So this, they just text, and then I already know where these people are at. Then I have the VA. I have a VA that looks in here and she sends me the summary after each call. And look at this. This was just done yesterday. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number 3s out of one call. That's 5 new potential partners. But look at this. A number 1 and a number 2, that's $6,000 in sales. So guess what that $6,000 is going to do? It's going to pay for all the ad spend, right? Look at the last one. Number 3. Look at this one. Number 3. Now, again, that's just to get on calls. But the thing is now whenever I get on a call with somebody, and what happens is whenever they do number 3, guess what? They get an automated message once, because I send them a link to book a private call. And whenever they book that private call, guess what happens? 15 minutes later, they get a, hey, looking forward to discussing or having our conversation with you. It's best you have a little context. Go ahead and watch this video called The Model Explained before we get on our call. That way you have context about the business model. And guess what everybody does? They watch that video, and then we jump on a call. Now I know I've got very interested people, but here's what's happened on the digital course side. So not just what we've done in real estate, but look at what we're doing for the people that don't want to be a part of the organization, which is fine. We're not going to force anybody. The last thing you want to do is drag anybody into your organization kicking and screaming. You want people that are ready, willing, and able, okay? But look at this. This is what's happened in monthly course sales. This is for people that don't want to join our business. And in the last 10 months, we've done over 400,000 just in the course sales. So that easily pays for everything that we need to do. All right? So, and then this is what my calendar looks like next week. Partner call, 3, 4, 2. Now everywhere I have a gap, I'm on a call with the right people because they already know what I'm offering. They know what they're getting. And before they get on the call, they've watched a video. And if they keep that call, I know they're serious. Doesn't mean everybody still joins, but it means that there's a higher likelihood, right? And it means that now I'm talking to somebody that has a true understanding of the business model. So whenever I get on the partner calls, this is what that looks like. Can I get a little bit more on the volume?
I've seen your YouTube videos and I love the YouTube idea.
Came across your guys' video and I like the entire idea of providing content and value for the city you live in.
When I ran across your commercial, I was like, I need this.
I love your videos. I've watched your neighborhood where you have the map and all of that. That's beautiful.
YouTube led me over to your stuff and I started watching that and I was like, yeah, this is cool, local guy.
You guys are rocking and rolling on YouTube and just watching the videos. I'm like,
I just like the way you do things. I've been watching your Instagrams, by the way. That's really good. And you are doing what I want to do.
I had just watched your video on Highland Park, and I go to a CrossFit gym here. This lady was from there, and I felt like an expert, like I knew everything about it. They're great videos.
It makes sense what you guys are doing. I like the flow, the charisma that you guys had. I felt relatable to you guys, You caught my attention, so I was like, wait a minute here. I got to see what these guys are doing, right? They look cool.
I was just gravitated toward you because you seem to be sincere, compassionate about what you do, knowledgeable, and real.
I really like what y'all do.
You're great at what you do.
I wanted to find out more about your program. I'm going to have to say you're probably one of the few that has that technology side of it.
Levi always says no one's going to watch your first video anyway, so it's all good.
Found your YouTube channel and I was like, this sounds like something I want to do rather than cold calling all day and all that. I don't want to waste time doing that. No.
Now let me step up my game for real.
Let's join up with these guys.
And I really wanted to implement it into my business. That's why I'm here to see how the partnership could actually work out.
Kindly, you accepted my request to meet with you so we can see how we can do a partnership.
Tell me about your proposition, your partnership. How does that work?
With EXP platforms, and you're not working directly under a broker, but you still have a broker of record that's around to answer things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how does that work?
How does that work? Do I sign up with EXP? I've watched a lot of their videos.
Joining the team, what does that mean? What does that entail to you? What kind of splits are with EXP? Is there a team split? All of that stuff is important information.
Talk to me a little bit about the EXP model and about the desk fees and things like that.
What all EXP people have access to and how that sort of thing works.
I'd be happy to join and join your team.
Who's going to be my sponsor?
What else do I need to know to get started?
What do we need to do to move forward from here?
How do I get started?
I don't know what the next steps are, but you can shoot me whatever email I need.
What would be the next step?
It sounds good. So what's next? What's the next step?
What is the next step after our call?
So what are the next steps from here?
So what's the next step?
What are the next steps after this phone call?
What will be the next steps?
Well, what's the next step?
What's the next step? What are we doing?
And really, that's all. I don't do a lot of talking. The thing is that we're positioned so good, and whenever I get on a call, their number one question is usually, how does this work? And what are the next steps? So it's that simple, because now they've been exposed to so much other things, right? But they've also come across our client-facing YouTube channel. They know about the success of what we've done because remember, we've got the social proof, so that leads them down all these different paths. But what is most important about this is that if I believe to really scale this in the ways that I believe everybody in here wants to, is that you have to have the content. You have to be on video. Video is what allows people to develop relationships with you that don't know you. And for us, at least, we didn't have all those relationships in the real estate business. So we started from scratch. But everyone in here, you have the relationships. You should depend on those relationships. But this is for after that, right? If you want to continually grow and expand and you want to attract that business, again, and you position it to where you put people through a process, this is also a vetting process, right? Because if they fall out anywhere in the process, they're probably not the right fit anyways. And again, as I mentioned, the last thing you want to do is drag somebody kicking and screaming through the process, right? So from there...
Here's the thing. Here's what I've been in Dallas for 20 years. So guess what? I know Dallas, and that's what people want to know. They want to know Dallas. They don't care less about the market report and the stats and data. I mean, if you watch any of our videos, I mentioned like a few stats here or there. Mm-hmm. It's not the focus of the video. The whole focus is about Dallas. I sold one of those houses. Travis has sold the other 69 of them. So not only that, I'm already out of production after one house. Technically, I'm the worst real estate agent in the history, but I'm a pretty good marketer.
And that's how the other conversation, I mean, that's the reality of it. And so out of those 217 transactions, yes, I actually only sold one of those. And it was the very first one, and it was a new build, and I didn't even write the contract on that. So I have yet to write a real estate contract. I'm sorry, that's gonna make half of you really happy, or the other half of you very upset, right? So, but that's it. That's what happens. And so now we expanded this as well. So this provides opportunity to expand and grow your business. So what happened now is people were going through the course and getting there, like, great, but then they get stuck at the editing portion. And so from there, we found, again, a bottleneck, because we want to help people get all the way through the finish line. And again, like you said, the thing is that when people come to us now, I mean, again, EXP is icing on the cake, because they know we're here to help them. We can help them build a skill. We can help them with their production. We can help their team with their production. And so that's what they're attracted to. It's the same concept for real estate clients. I don't teach anything about stats and data and the real estate process. I teach people about Dallas. And then the process, nobody has ever called us out of the blue and said, hey, could you tell me about the appraisal process? Could you tell me how the escrow process works? Could you tell, right? And that's where a lot of agents make content about that stuff. But who goes on there and says, hey, honey, it's time to buy the house. I think we need to start with the escrow process. Let's research that, right? And so it's the same thing for agent attraction or for real estate business. You think about what is it the person you're trying to attract, what are they looking for? And all you have to do is put yourself in front of them. So here we developed an agency now to where we do everything. So not only the people that come into our program, and we set off because if somebody joins our team, what we do is we provide them the digital course for free. because we're not trying to profit off of them. We know that if we build a partnership with them and help them grow their production long term, we've got a long-term partnership, right? The benefit is built into the brokerage model for us. So if you join us, then we just need to help you be a producing agent. And guess what? That resets every single year. So now we're incentivized to help you be a producing agent every single year. But we don't want, whether they're on our team or not on our team, to get stuck. So we built out the agency to where, because we've got this process dialed in, now we can help people with their editing as well, where we do everything turnkey. We do their tags, titles, descriptions, thumbnails. All they have to do is record the content and they turn it over. Now that's something we can't give away for free because it's a labor cost, right? It's an ongoing cost. So we built that out. And so now we have also another reoccurring revenue stream that is built for us. So we do a little video on there, but now we've been able to help channels, all across the country. I mean, this guy, Chris, was a nurse, never been in sales, never been in real estate, found our model. He lives in Northwest Georgia, one of the ruralest areas out there. And guess what? Only became a real estate agent, joined our team, implemented our exact program. He has more business than he can handle right now. And Northwest Georgia is not the relocation capital of the world, I'll tell you that. He has to drive 30 minutes to get in between towns of like 10,000 people. But he is generating a full-time income now, and that's good for him. Not everybody has to do the volume we're doing. Yes, we're in Dallas. We're in a good market. Yes, my partner is very aggressive. Yes, we both are. We're trying to scale. But even for somebody who's in Northwest Georgia, selling 2 homes a month is an amazing income for a lot of people. That could be multiple 6 figures for them. So, we've helped channels now all over the country. And again, this is the benefit that they get, by partnering with us. Or if they don't want to partner with us, then we can still help them out. And so we build that over and over again. So, and the main thing is what this does is now your people are like saying, I need to start working on my EXP and recruiting pitch for when this picks up. Once you help them on production and now they're producing, and this guy was super skeptical of us, but he joined, and now he's already, first 5 months, closed 5 deals, got another 5 under contract just from the YouTube channel. But now, what is he thinking about? How do I duplicate this? How do I help other people do that? And we can help them do that. So, and of course, and then that's led into this. And so this is where we're at. Guys, think about it. 18 months ago, wasn't even in the business at all. I knew Michael Reese as a real estate agent. That was it. And here we've been able to attract 51 agents. We've got 21 qualified. That opens up 5 levels for us, 346 in the rev share group. It's been over 5 figures for the last 5 months. So what if you could just do that? Would that change your business? Would that change your life just to have an additional 5 figures coming in? And we're just getting started on this. So that's the opportunity there as well. Now, this is our team. Not only are we investing in marketing this year, we're investing in people. So this is what has helped us, is that this is the first time that I've finally said and got rid of my ego and said, okay, I can do everything. And I said, it's not about how can we do it, it's who can do it. Guys, we live in the age of the internet. Blogs, YouTube, Google, you can do anything you want, anything. Whatever. If you want to be the best postcard marketer on the planet, there's YouTube videos on it, there's books on it, Michael Reese has a course on it. I mean, you could become the best postcard marketer, I believe, in the next 60 days. And you would be better than probably 99.9% of the real estate agents out there, because I don't even think they study it. But if you wanted to, you could do that. But the thing is that we started investing in people as quickly as possible. I was just talking with Gary, and we were, Alex was the first hire we did, a videographer. Even though we needed an assistant, even though we needed somebody else, we needed an ops manager, we needed other people that would have helped our business probably a little bit better, but we knew content is king, and we wanted the content. So the first person we hired was Alex, a videographer, so he could go with us. So not only are we traveling, but we've captured everything on video. That video of me speaking with Tom Ferry, we wouldn't have had that footage if Alex hadn't been there. That happened by circumstance. I ended up sharing the stage with Tom Ferry for 20 minutes. And if Alex hadn't been there to capture it, we would have had no record of that. Because Tom Ferry's not going to give us that footage, is he? Nope, he's not. And so that's the thing. Every conversation I've had with you this whole time, guys, has been recorded. I've been mic'd the entire time. So that's the other thing, is I don't have to sit down and make content, because I'm making content in real time. When I host trainings on Zoom, on Clubhouse, on YouTube, which I do every single week, Alex is there recording it. I'm recording it on Zoom so I get those front angles, like whenever I was telling that guy I'm the worst real estate agent in the world, right? That's recorded, that's content. That one little clip, you see how that becomes content? You see how all my agent attraction calls are content? They can be cut up. Everything, every conversation I've had with you, guess what? That can all be chopped up. It all becomes content. So that's why agents, at the first, you saw it, I've seen your videos, I've seen your videos. What did they all say? They already know me. They want to talk to me. So that is building up that presence. And so that's what's doing it. But Emily, we just hired on an operation. Alex was the first hire. Chrissy, our agency manager for the video editing now. Gabby, a video manager. Daphne, social media. But again, we've got an international crew here as well. Not only do we have people locally, but we've sourced elsewhere. Africa, I'm telling you guys, if you need a VA, Support Realty, I think it's a pretty good VA company. I'm very happy with Support Realty. They focus only on real estate, services. They source from Africa. The people are college educated. They speak English very well because, a lot of countries in Africa were colonized by the British. So, that's a native language. Now they have a British accent, but I think that's pretty cool, right? Every one of us likes the British accent. So, that's pretty cool. So, everything on there, and we did that. So that's what we're hiring. But here's the deal. We don't even have to pay for all of that. Brent said it yesterday. If you don't have a bad mamma jamma for a mortgage partner, our mortgage partner contributes about $20,000 a month to us. What's he paying you? Because we refer our business to him. So that cuts down on a lot of our costs. So you got to be partnered with the right title company. You got to be partnered with the right mortgage partner, because if you're giving them business, guys, these people have money, and they'll contribute back to your business. And so, that helps out quite a bit whenever we don't have to pay for half of this stuff, because our mortgage partner does. Now, you have to check on laws and guidelines and all that stuff, but they vetted everything, so we know we're doing everything by the book, but they can do it, and you got to find a way. So we built out a studio in our office so that any of our team members can come in and record videos at any time. They all have access to that. So again, we're reducing the barrier of entry there. And again, this is just part of our, but we've built out. So we're actually over 15,000 subs on our main channel. We have our real estate agent facing channel, which is called The Real Agents. 2 different audiences. Guys, don't mix your message. If you want to attract real estate clients, you need to have a client message. You need to have a client avatar. If you want to attract agents, you need to have an agent message. You need to have an agent avatar. They're 2 separate channels. They're 2 separate things. Don't start mixing. Don't start mixing on that. So, all right, so we go to the second presentation. So now what I want to do is break down with you how we do this and how we convey this message to agents, and what I do twice a week on there. And I'm going to also give you some takeaways for how you can build out your channel, okay? So, and this is what you have to do. Write this down. If you plan to do something like this, this is what you need to focus on for your webinar. You need to focus on heart, head, hands, and heart. Heart, head, hands, heart. Okay? So this is what I start out with. This is whenever I get 75 people on a webinar, this is how I started out. And I want to run through this because I want you to see, and again, guys, this doesn't have to be YouTube for you. It has to be your superpower. Now, the thing is you can do like what Chosen said yesterday. Thank you, Chosen, for the shout out. And he's like, I'm going to learn this and I'm going to do this. So if you learn YouTube, guys, the reason I'm telling I don't care. You can rip off and duplicate. I don't like that word. I like the word modeling. You can model this. You can do whatever. If you want to become the YouTube expert in your area, I'm fine with that. The more the merrier. Because ultimately, people are attracted to personalities. People are attracted to people. Like attracts like. And you know what? If somebody relates more with you and wants to work with you and be on your team, I'm okay with that. That doesn't take away from me. Guys, there's plenty of agents out there. There's plenty of real estate clients. So I don't mind you do what you do. I hope you do this because I believe this is an amazing way to attract business and to attract agents. So This is what I do. I go through passive prospecting, and this is what we've coined this phrase now, passive prospecting. Everyone's always talking about passive income, right? Now, passive prospecting works because it works passively for you, but it does take a lot of work to get to that point, right? So it's a little catch-22. But again, I hit on the pain point, so you never have to cold call, door knock, do open houses, sorry, Brent, or spend money on ads. But the thing is that I think what Brent says is he became the best open house person, and I believe that's a digital course. And people will be gravitated that. When you have something packaged that you can pass on to somebody else, they'll be gravitated toward that. And that's an easy way for people to break into the business. We got a guy on our team that he's like, Levi, I'm sorry, I'm just not a video guy. That's fine. I'm not going to force anybody to do video. But I talked to him about an open house strategy for agent attraction. You know what I said? I was like, look, what if you did this? He's like, I'm a people person. So guess what? If Brent has the open house course, guess who he's going to attract? He's going to attract a lot of people that don't want to do video. And here's the thing. Like I told David, I said, David, here, think about this. I said, if you went to 4 open houses on a Saturday and 4 open houses on a Sunday, you went to half an hour on each open house. That's 8 people a weekend. If you did that for 1 year, you would talk to 425 agents. And I said, just meet them. Just go in there. Look around the open house, say you're an agent in the area, just checking things out, meet them, talk to them for half an hour, and boot scoot to the next one. Do that. That costs you 2 hours on a Saturday, 2 hours on a Sunday. And if you want to double up, right, then you could do 2 open or 8 open. I said at the end of the year, you've talked to 440 agents. Do you think you can sponsor 4 or 5 or 6 or 10? And that could be more than most people do that. So you also got to think in ways that people can generate other business if they don't want to do exactly what you do. But ultimately, we're attracting people through video because they want to do video. And guess what? I can help people with that. So I know we're a good fit. If they want to be the best cold caller, I'm sorry. I tell them I'm not your person. If you're that type of person where you'd rather sit behind a phone and do it that way, maybe Ricky Caruth is the person for you, you know? Maybe that's for you. If you want to be the open house person, you know, hey, my buddy Brent has an amazing open house course, and you know what? He really was the best at that business. So you can direct people. Here's what I start out. I say, okay, Travis is never on my calls, so he's always doing other stuff. So I always say, all right, thanks to my partner Travis. But again, I start out with the story, and I let everybody know, look, this is what happened. Didn't sell any homes. Here's the production levels, and this is what happened. You know, and that's a lot to generate. But I'd say, okay, and this has led to those opportunities. So. And this is, I kind of tell the story. Again, I got to get into the heart. The heart part of this right here is I have to relate to agents very quickly because what I just showed them is not going to be relatable with a lot of people from the beginning. Now, the results are going, I put results up there not to brag, but that punches people in the gut, right, from the beginning. They're like, holy cow. Even whether they're a high producer or a low producer, even the high producers are like, well, it took me a couple of years to get to that point sometimes, you know. So I got to say this. So I got to say, look, here's the deal. My friend Michael Reese, I've known him for 20 years. He's been trying to get me in the business for the last 18, but the thing was I never wanted to be a real estate agent, respectfully. It just wasn't something I was interested in doing. And there was a major problem. You know, the thing is that whenever he moved into real estate, the thing is that we sold gym memberships together at Ballytola Fitness. And I knew I remember the weekend when he met Jay Kinder at the lake and came back to Bally's, and he said, I'm getting my real estate license. I'm going to be an agent. I remember that weekend because we worked at the same club. I was like, real estate agent? He said, yep, I'm doing it. I'm going all in. And Mike was an all-in type of guy. I was like, okay. I said, I'm going to sit on the sidelines and watch and see how that works out for you. Although I knew he'd be successful because, you know, he had that drive. He was the same person 20 years ago. Somehow he's maintained that energy level as well. So the thing is that I said, okay, I'm going to sit back. And here's what I knew. I knew that I knew how hard he worked also, and I started to see that for the first couple of years. I mean, he copied everything Jay did, right? He wrapped a Hummer and he did all this stuff, and I was thinking, oh my God, I don't want to be that person either. I was just like, that's kind of silly. I mean, I get it. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, but I was like, I don't want my face on a giant Hummer that he drove around town. And then I saw him, then he's sending out all these postcards and running around, you know, and I was just thought, you know, not something I'm interested in. Plus, you know, the old stat, 87% of agents fell out of the business in the first 2 years. Well, why do agents fail? Agents fail not because they're not good people. It's not because they ace the real estate exam. It's not because they learn the contracts inside and out. It's because they're not effective at lead generation. period. That's really what it comes down to. And you can't, relying on your friends and family is usually not enough for a lot. That's why 87%. But also because the average agent starts with less than $5,000 to their name. So whenever they get into the business, they're usually in a transition period, or they're coming off of a life loss or something like that. They usually don't come into, millionaires usually don't become real estate agents. So people are typically struggling when they come into the market, or they're making a huge life change. And so that's why they have to revert to, again, what we talked about. You either market yourself through money or through your time. So they start out with things that take their time: cold calling, door knocking, calling FSBOs and expireds. And according to NAR, an agent with less than 2 years of experience makes on average $8,800 a year. No wonder 87% fell out of the first 2 years, because I don't know about you, but I can't live off of $8,800 a year. And it's a rejection-based business, right? Nobody likes to be turned down. Nobody likes to make 100 phone calls to possibly get 10 people on the phone, to possibly get 2 of them to maybe have a decent conversation with you without hanging up on you or slamming the door in your face. It's a rejection-based business. How many times have you heard, hey, you got to get through 9 no's to get to the 1 yes, right? How many no's does it take for you to get to a yes? Do your numbers, right? And that's what you're doing. All right, just 24 more no's and I'll get to my yes. But that's tough. And so that's why people get out of the business, is because it is hard. It's hard to generate business. So that's whenever I started looking for alternatives. Before I got in and I made the decision that I was going to become a real estate agent, I started to say, okay, well, how can I do this effectively? What's the right way to do this? How do I not just jump in and just kind of do what everybody else does? Well, let me do some research first. Let me find where people are actually looking for information. Well, if I Google Plano, Texas, a major suburb of Dallas, on Google, it tells me, guys, you can find all this information. It's all out there. 90,500 searches per month. Okay, but if I go onto YouTube and search Plano, Texas, 836,000 searches per month. 10 times the search volume. So that told me immediately, people are not, this isn't the early 2000s. It's not the blog days anymore. People want to know what these areas look like, what they sound like, what they taste like, what they smell like. You get all that sense through video, right? And 84% of people making a buying decision in 2022 will base it off of video content. So whatever it is they're buying, even with real estate, they're probably going to find video first. Okay, so I was like, okay, so 10 times the search volume on YouTube over Google. So that told me, where do I need to be? Told me YouTube. So that's what, then I started to discover, as I started to research this, I discovered what I call passive prospecting principles. So what is that? Intention-based. It's global reach. It's compounding time. It is passive prospecting. So what does that mean? Well, interruption versus intention. Here's the thing. This is what most everybody does in any business, real estate or not, is interruption marketing. Why? It's just because what we've been exposed to and what we've done our entire lives. What is interruption marketing? It's everything. It's TV commercials. It's magazine ads. It's billboards. It's postcards. All that is interrupting people during the day, right? Nobody says, "Hey, honey, Seinfeld's on. I can't wait to watch the commercials," right? No. And now you subscribe to Netflix and Hulu because why? Because they're commercial free. Unless it's the Super Bowl, right? So otherwise, nobody cares about commercials. What do you do during commercials? You get up, you go get something to eat, get something to drink, go to the restroom, get on your phone probably, right? And so nobody goes to watch TV for the commercials. We're exposed to 8,000 to 10,000 advertisements every single day. You don't buy 8,000 products a day. I don't, right? Because that's interrupting your life. You don't need it. So the thing is that's interruption marketing. So whenever you're sending out postcards and cold calling, door knocking, that's why it's so hard. Hey, I'm in the middle of dinner. You're interrupting my dinner. I don't want to talk about real estate right now. Again, you can be effective. You can generate business that way. But again, you're interrupting. So think about this. Intention, you don't need any marketing or advertising, because think about when you pour out the last bowl of dog food. You pour out the last bowl of dog food and you go, well, I don't want Fluffy to die, so I guess I need some dog food. What do? You probably pull up your phone, go on Amazon, you search within about 2 minutes, you find the dog food maybe that you bought last time, you buy it, it's on your doorstep 2 days later. Or you go directly to the store, walk to the dog food aisle, and you buy dog food. That's intention-based, right? You didn't need marketing, advertising. You didn't pour out the last bowl of dog food and say, well, I guess I'll wait around for a magazine ad to pop up and sell me some dog food. No, you have full intention. You go out searching or looking, or you're like, okay, again, don't want Fluffy to die, so I'm going to go get the dog food. So think about this. What if you could be in that position for real estate? So instead of interrupting everybody all the time, you're just the one in front of them whenever they actually have intention to buy real estate. Well, guess what? Look at the analytics on our channel from YouTube. 53% of our traffic comes from TV, desktop, and tablet. What are those devices? They're research devices. So that means people are sitting down. 28% of our traffic comes from TV. 80% of the traffic online is mobile, but 53% of our traffic comes from other than mobile. So what does that tell you? People are researching. They're intention-based. They're looking for the information. 28% comes from TV. Guess where they're probably sitting watching our videos on their TV? On the couch. Or they may be even laying in bed. And they're probably with their spouse or even the kids, right? So they have intention. They're looking for this information. And look at the view duration. They say attention spans are dead these days. You have to do short form. Everybody has to be the dancing real estate agent on TikTok now if you want to make some money. No. Look at the average view duration on TV. In one sitting, 9 minutes and 36 seconds. Do you think we have their attention? Why? Because if you know people's intention, you'll have their attention. And so they're searching for this information. And guess what? YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google. And Google owns YouTube, so their search goes hand in hand. So we know we're capturing people. But local versus global, there's a strategy to farming your local market. Sure, absolutely, and maybe that works for you. But how many of you have cold called the UK? How many of you have door knocked Australia? Nobody? Okay. Well, guess what? This month alone, we're helping somebody from Belgium, from Australia, and from South Africa buy homes. You know how they found us? On YouTube. And you know what? We're doing the transaction online. That simple. Why did they find us? Look at this. Look when people are watching our channel. 69 people at 2 a.m., 70 people at 3 a.m., 72 people at 4 a.m. When's the last time you contacted 72 people at 4 a.m.? So this is working, and it's meeting people on their time when they're looking for the information. So these people, they're either night owls, they work the night shift, or they're in the UK, or they're in Australia, or they're in South Africa. And they're watching our channel on their time when they want to find the information. And guess what? So we come across them. So look at this. This is the email. We're originally from Florida, but we've been abroad in Belgium for the last 6 years. We're moving back to Dallas. Can you help us find a home? When's the last time you got an email from Belgium? So this applies to agent attraction as well. How many countries are we in? 22? So guess what? You ever want to have a business in another country? Where do you think people are ever going to find you? So then I say, look, here's the number one reason usually agents tell me they don't get on YouTube is it takes too much time. Well, I'm here to tell you, YouTube does not take you time. YouTube makes you time. You see, if it takes you 30 minutes to make a video, as soon as that video has been watched 1 minute, you've profited 1 minute of your time. And then what I love about YouTube is it tells us all this. But look, this one video, it's 28 minutes. We made that in one take, really. So it took us about 28 minutes to make. But it's been watched 9,000 hours. That's a profit of 8,999.5 hours. Is that a good return of your time? Same thing with the digital course. If you have the information, oh, I just don't have time to sit down and take a day, because it's probably going to take a day. It may take you 8 hours to put all of your superpower into a digital course, but guess what? You know how many agents I've trained that I have not had to train because I took that day to make that digital course? And how many days are you spending training agents over and over and over again on the same stuff? And then sometimes they may quit a week later, and you're like, waste of time. So, but not only does YouTube make you time, it compounds your time. So think about this. Our channel so far has been watched 130,400 watch hours. You divide that by 24 hours in a day, that's equivalent to 14.88 years. That means our channel in the last 18 months has prospected for us 14.88 years. Why do you think we're doing the amount of business we're doing? Because if you're a cold caller or a door knocker, again, nothing wrong with that. I know you can be successful that way, but what are you not doing right now? You're not lead generating. Guess what our channel's doing right now? There's probably 1,000 people watching our channel right now. So that's why also we've traveled more this year than we've ever before, and our business continues to grow because the channel is working for us. You know, this is the whole concept of the cash flow quadrant. The whole goal of the cash flow quadrant is to get from the left side to the right side, right? So if you've ever read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you know the cash flow quadrant. You know, none of us in here want to be employees because why? You trade time for money and you work for somebody else. But when you become a real estate agent, all you've done is move yourself to the S quadrant. You still trade time for money, you just work for yourself instead of somebody else. So in real estate, to get to the right side of the quadrant, you need to have a team, you need to have a brokerage, you need to have rental properties generating, passive income, or you need to have a lead generation or system that is working for you in the business 24/7 so that you don't have to. But the ultimate goal is to become an investor, right? So your money can make you money. And if that's the ultimate goal, and they say, and I'd ask you this, if you invest in anything, stocks, real estate, crypto, whatever it is you're doing, what's your number one question before you invest in something? What's the return? What's going to be the return of my investment? So I would say you should ask that self before you invest your time, and if time is our most valuable asset, before you invest it into social media and other things that you're going to be spending your time on, what's the return of my time? Well, I know I haven't invested 130,000 hours into YouTube, but it's returned me that, and that's a true compound of time, because I don't know any other way you can get that back. So again, and then you look at active versus passive prospecting, the fourth principle. This is very hard. Active prospecting, it's hard. It's why all sales training exists. It's why you need that motivation, right? That's why every single day you got to hone up on your skills. The whole industries are built from this. Conferences, books, sales training is an industry. Why? Because it's tough. You spend 90% of your time prospecting for 10% of the time to have a conversation, right? That's usually how it works. At least that worked for me. I spent 90% of my time chasing people, being active to hopefully get in front of somebody. As to where now, I don't do that. But it's a ton of rejection, spends 90% of your time versus passive prospecting. I say, hey, that's pretty easy, because guess what? I've never made a cold call. I've never door knocked. I've never sent out a postcard. But yet our phone rings on average 3 to 5 times a day with people wanting to work with us. How many would like 3 to 5 leads coming in every single day? All right, yeah, there's a couple. So, and the best thing is people walk themselves through the sales process. So what you saw on the agent attraction side applies to the real estate client side. Because people, they watch your videos, they find your content, and they walk themselves through the sales process. So if you've ever looked at a sales funnel, the client journey, the sales process, whatever it is you want to call it, there's top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. That top is when people don't know you, they don't know who you are, and they find an ad, and that's why you have to spend money on every other platform to push it out there, and you have to have lookalike audiences and target audiences and custom audiences, and that's why agents are like, I can't understand this Facebook stuff, right? Everyone's trying to run Facebook ads. You got to do that. Why? Because Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, interruption platforms, right? When's the last time somebody said, hey, honey, it's time to buy a house. Let's go on Facebook and see what's on the market. But yet we run ads on Facebook all the time. Hey, honey, it's time to buy a house. Let's go on Instagram and see if we can find the best agent that's doing pointy videos. Hey, honey, it's time to buy a house. Let's go on TikTok and see if we can find the best dancing real estate agent. No, people go to those platforms to get entertained, to get their mind off of the day, to check in on their friends and families. And here we are marketing and advertising. So you're hitting them, and yes, they can follow you and they can like your stuff, but again, they're not likely in the market and may not be for another 12, 18, 24, 36 months. But on YouTube, when they go in and search, guess what they're doing? Our average contact to under contract is 47 days, which means the first time somebody ever reaches out to us, on average, we get them under contract in 47 days. Out of those 217, I double-checked the numbers yesterday, out of 217 transactions, 47 days. That's how intentional they are. And they called us. And this is what happens. We get these texts and emails, and this is what happens whenever they come in. Look at the volume. You don't have to read all this, but look at the amount of information. Somebody's reaching out to us for the first time. Look, they're giving us everything. They already feel like they know us. And they tell us square footage, price range, kids' names, kids' social security number. I mean, they just tell us everything. But look at this. We would like to check with you if you would be able to help us find a home. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for your time. I look forward to hearing from you. If you have some time to talk about this, feel free to give me a call. That's how they're like, hey, Levi, do you have some time to help me find a house? I know you're busy because I see everything you're doing online. Do you have time to help me? What kind of position would that put you in your business? But then we get phone calls, and this is what happens during phone calls.
Hi, Levi. Is this the Living in Dallas, Texas YouTube channel?
That's me.
Are you guys the folks on the YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, that's us.
Okay. I know exactly who I'm talking to then.
But this is regarding the Living in Dallas, Texas channel, right?
Wait, are you Levi from the videos, from the YouTube videos?
Yeah, that's me.
It's good talking to you.
I saw some of your videos, and that's how I found you. So actually very helpful.
My wife and I have seen your guys' videos on YouTube and kind of caught our interest.
I'm posting on your YouTube, but very interesting where you share the information. I don't know if we should ask for an autograph or something. We've been following you on YouTube like you're a superstar.
That I'd reach out to you guys because I've been watching your YouTube videos.
Hey, good to talk to you guys. Been looking at your videos on YouTube.
I feel like I'm talking to the movie star. Just saw your YouTube video. I'm sure you get a lot of calls like this.
Like some of your videos are literally like the first videos I see, so I'm just like, let me call this guy. Let me text this gentleman.
Thank you. You have a nice video.
We were really impressed, and that's why we wanted to get in touch with you.
I saw your videos, and it actually helped me.
We liked your videos and your knowledge and your energy level. And
all the information that you gave us on the YouTube channel about both of those spots, it looks good.
We've watched pretty much all your videos.
I found you through YouTube, actually. I've been watching a lot of your videos lately.
Let me commend you, man. Good job on that.
Great videos on YouTube.
Yeah, no, I've been looking at your stuff, and it's been helpful.
Your YouTube channel helps out a lot. We like to watch his videos, kind of get a lay of the land,
You make great videos, by the way. I enjoy watching them.
We've learned a great deal just watching your YouTube videos, which are amazing, by the way.
I found your information super helpful.
I like what you say in your videos. There's also hotspots for investments.
A no-brainer, but you guys are also well-informed, but I really like your stuff.
there's videos and content there. Really good stuff, really good sites of ours, and really informative.
We watch your videos religiously.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Did people sound like they were excited to talk to us? That all I did was, hello, this is Levi. Wait, this is Levi from the YouTube channel? People want to work with us already. There's no selling on our part. We don't have to sell them. The video has already done all the selling for us. And then we jump on Zoom calls. And this is why I say I record everything. So our CRM records all of our phone calls, which is why we have those, right? But then we jump on Zoom calls, and this is what happens on Zoom calls.
And I found you through YouTube. It's kind of funny because it feels like I'm watching a YouTube video right now.
I knew you was gonna be cool. You know what? After watching your clip, my head exploded. I was like, wow.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your Sunday.
I appreciate the text messages because those have been super helpful.
Hey, good seeing you again, Levi.
You enjoy the videos?
Oh, yeah, I do. I really enjoyed your video.
We saw your YouTube channel and say, hey, look, he looks knowledgeable. He knows the land.
Funny to talk to the person behind the YouTube video.
From one creator to another, I really like your channel.
I saw your videos on YouTube. They're impressive.
It's like seeing a celebrity. I've watched it so much on the
Really good videos. I've enjoyed your videos over the weekend.
We've been watching you, Levi, on YouTube a lot, actually.
I've watched your YouTubes.
Did you find them helpful?
I actually did, yes.
We're definitely ready. And we've been kind of stalking you a little bit.
I was watching some videos, and I must say, really amazing videos.
I've been watching a lot of the videos.
It's actually nice to see you from those.
We've been watching your videos every day.
We saw some of your content and kept on saying, like, reach out. So we're reaching out.
So maybe you get some advice.
I really appreciated your video when you spoke to when you just described the different areas of Dallas.
And we were like, oh, these areas seem to fit our vibe.
It's been a year, so now I'm just kind of looking to head towards the DFW area.
Just from the research we've done, some of your videos were helpful too.
And I have never been to Texas in my life. However, I know that I'm going to love it there because it just keeps them coming up. And funny seeing Levi on screen now talking to you instead of talking at you. I found a couple places that I don't want to go to and a couple places I want to.
Okay, good.
Definitely ready to get back home.
I've left a couple of times myself, but I'm like a boomerang, always come back. So
It's actually really hard to get a house there as well.
not with us.
Well, yeah, let's see that.
Just the timing, I guess, was kind of good. They say things kind of happen for a reason.
So I've done some research. I did watch your videos. I'm actually coming to check out the areas and figure out which one we would like best.
Pretty cool to see you now.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's great to see you.
Cool. Well, thanks, Levi, and yeah, we'll be in touch.
Hey, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I know it took a lot of your time, but that's really helpful. Thank you today, and then we can keep talking.
Thank you both. Thank
We'll
you.
definitely stay in touch and make sure we get y'all taken care of, okay? Thanks,
Okay, thanks so much for your time, guys.
Thank you both so much. I appreciate your time.
Nice to meet you guys.
And let's get this done.
And that's what happens on Zoom calls, yeah. Are you seeing a theme now, whether it's agents or whether it's real estate clients? I mean, when you have, content out there, when you're providing value first and they can access everything for free, they come to you already feel like they know you, and they should. You need to be who you are on those videos, because guess what? We are going to meet our audience, whether it's real estate clients or agents. We will meet our audience. So don't be a character. Don't be somebody you're not, but just be yourself. And so, we've helped agents now. I mean, Kyler's like, he posted this and he said, 4th closing from YouTube. This was his very first call. The very first client that called him from the YouTube channel, which by the way, called him within 6 days. He only published 2 videos. And in 6 days, 2 videos, he got the first call, and he ended up closing that person 3 months later. And that's it. Now he's four deals under contract. Rochelle, her channel has already gone over 3,000 in Toronto. So again, this applies internationally. South, north, east, west, and she had a video go over 100. We haven't even had a video go over 100,000 views, and one of her videos went over 100,000 views, and she looked 3 closings in the past week from YouTube. So it's duplicatable, and that's what we say is we let people know. We say, here's our BHAG, our big, hairy, audacious goal, which is, we want to help 100 agents across the world build their own passive prospecting 24/7 lead generating channels, so they never have to cold call, door knock, do open houses, or spend money, or depend on iBuyer leads ever again, right? Because you're building your own digital asset through YouTube. Do you understand that you own that channel? You can transfer it, first of all. So we've got a sellable business. So it's another exit strategy. So not only do we have agent attraction, do we have stocks and rev share with EXP, but now we have a sellable YouTube channel. We have a video editing agency. We've got a CRM as well that we offer on top of that. We've got multiple streams that we're now building out through that, because ultimately people are looking for that help. And so, we say, here's the whole process. Here, you do the channel build out, you create content, you optimize, and you do lead conversion. That's the passive prospecting process. So what does this mean? If you haven't seen our channel, this is what our channel looks like. And the thing is like, look, it's very specific. Do you have a shadow of a doubt what this channel is all about? If you're a real estate client looking to purchase in Dallas, or you're researching, does this channel talk to you about living in Dallas? Right? It's the whole reason we named it Living in Dallas, Texas, because whenever I started, nobody's searching Levi Lascisak on YouTube, right? Right. Right. Brent was. So nobody was searching me. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody's searching Travis Plum. So if I put Levi Lascisak real estate agent, who's going to find that? So, but millions of people are searching Dallas, Texas every day, regardless of whether they're looking for real estate or not. But people looking for living in Dallas are probably thinking about moving. So again, and then you see, subscribe to learn all about living in Dallas, Texas. Again, tells them what it is about. We have a nice little picture. Majority of our clients come from California, Illinois, New York. So we paint a picture for them. I heard you Sacramentians, is that what you call them? Sacramentians, right? Everyone's coming from the Bay Area. Is everybody moving out of the Bay Area? You're going to capture those people. So maybe I have a little moving truck coming from San Francisco to Sacramento. And wherever else, paint that picture so they understand visually, subliminal, all this, they understand. And then guess what? If you have a YouTube channel now and you have all your social media links on there, stop it. Why do you want to distract people from your channel to another platform? You've worked so hard to get them to your channel in the first place, and then you're going to send them to Instagram or TikTok where they're going to get down the rabbit hole of watching silly cat videos. They're not going to be watching real estate. So the only reason we give them to leave our channel is to book a call with us. It's a call to action. Hey, you want to meet in person on Zoom? That's why we get so many Zoom calls, because people go, click, yes, I want to meet you on Zoom. But we also have our phone number, email on there as well, because we know, right, just like there's 4 learning styles, there's 4 communication styles. So we know people that call us are probably auditory people, right? And so those are the people that want to talk. The people that text or email, those are the readers and the writers. And then the people that get on Zoom are probably the kinesthetic, right? They want to more touch and feel. They want to see us. But we provide all those avenues, and that's the only reason they should leave our channel. So if you're building out your channel, think about your client first, your consumer. Who are you trying to reach? And if you name it after yourself, Trust me, nobody's looking for that. Sorry. So if you want to, which way do you want to get found? So then content creation strategies. So we go into that. So there's very simple 4 different videos that you can do that people are constantly searching for in your area. Vlog tours, actually taking them out in the neighborhood and showing them what it is. Anybody can go on Zillow and look at a house, the inside and the outside. But what they can't see is the house across the street and the house next door and the little neighborhood playground and the community center. All of that is never featured on Zillow. So what do? We take them out in the neighborhood. We let them know, hey, right down the street, you've got the gas station. You've got a Chipotle. That's the most important, right? You got to be within 2 blocks of a Chipotle. No. So you show them around what's going on, what's in the area. That's the thing. So we actually take them out in neighborhoods and show them what to do. Map tours. You would be surprised. These are some of our most popular videos. I get on Zoom, share my screen of a Google map, and walk people around town on a Google map. Anybody can look at a Google map, but they can't get my 20 years of living in Dallas, my perspective on that. So do you think that's valuable for somebody that's actually researching? Because anybody can look at a Google map, but then they're going, well, how far is that really? How is that really with traffic? How's that, is that a problem? Is there a bottleneck over here? What's it close by? So we're giving them that information too. Pros and cons. This is one of our top videos. I can't stand Dallas. It doesn't have to be called pros and cons, but we talk about, hey, unfortunately, it just happens, but people are drawn to negativity. So when you're drawn to negativity, you make a title that says, I can't stand Dallas. We talk about all the things we don't like about Dallas. And hey, we're being honest. There's things we don't like about Dallas. There's probably things you don't like about Sacramento or wherever you're from. So tell them, let people know. Give them that information. People are attracted to it. Look at our thumbnail. I mean, I'm smacking my head, and Travis has a little frowny face. I mean, it's so that's it. Top 5 neighborhoods. Again, top 5 neighborhoods, top 5 suburbs. List things like that. Top 8 this, top 7 this. People are naturally attracted to that. That's 4 content strategies right there that you can start to implement that people are searching for in any market. I promise you. So then we get to optimization and SEO. The whole reason we were able to do this. If I didn't mention, we did this all organically. We have not spent any ad spend to the channel. It's all been organic with no ad spend. And the reason we've been able to do that is because I took time to research and understand the back end, the optimization, the SEO, the search engine optimization. YouTube, when you put in a video, most people, not just agents, most people upload that video and that's it. But guess what? There's a lot that goes into that video. If there's a lot of blanks, I'm telling you right now, fill in the blank, because what you fill in those blanks is what actually communicates to YouTube what your video is about, because algorithms read text. They read words. They read letters. And so it's not your video. It is what you type in, the title, the description, the tags, all of that. So when you type that stuff in, that's what YouTube actually reads. So when somebody else types in living in Dallas, Texas, it's going to say, oh, here's these videos with living in Dallas, Texas typed into there. Does that make sense? So that's it. So optimization, but then we A/B test things. There's software out there. There's software called TubeBuddy. We can actually A/B test, which means it'll flip-flop thumbnails or tags or titles or descriptions every other day, because we don't guess on this stuff. We let the algorithm tell us. We let the clicks. We let the viewers tell us. So you make 2 different thumbnails, let it flip-flop every other day, and the one that wins is the one that's going to get you more clicks. But look at this. One thumbnail, 20% higher click-throughs, 648% more click-throughs, 387% more. That is a big deal. We average 50,000 impressions on our channel per day. So the more clicks, the better, right? If YouTube's putting it out there, it's going to promote more of your videos if more people click on it. So why guess on this stuff? Why say, oh, I think I've got the best thumbnail in the world, and you make that and you don't get any views? You should make an alternate at all times, and we do that. And we do that with our tags and our titles and our descriptions. So do that. And then it goes into lead conversion. We have a whole system built out to where we walk people through the pipeline and through the system. And so you got to get on the lead conversion aspect there. So then I asked the question. Again, this is whenever I'm talking to agents, and I ask them the question. So you've seen everything that we've put together, and seems like a lot, but what if we could do all that for you? Right? Now we're getting to the value proposition. So this becomes the hands part. So whatever I remember at the beginning, I said, you're going to start with the heart, then go to the head. So the heart was that reason why I didn't want to get in real estate, right? Because of all the reasons people fell. I knew that up front, so I was concerned about that. And so that's the So this part right now is the hand part, because now we're putting out a proposition to them. So that's where we talk about, now we've developed the passive production process. You film the video, we build the channel, we edit, we optimize, we publish and support. And so now we're giving out a proposition for the attraction base on there. I always hate being backed up against lunch, because as soon as people start hearing the knives and the forks, they're just like, when is this going to be over? Am I good, Clark? Do I got 10 minutes? Or good? Okay. Okay, thanks. So then I position this and say, okay, so what is this going to cost me? Because that's what everybody's thinking now, right? And so what is it going to cost me? Well, you could pay for the course, you could pay for setup fees, you could pay for channel graphics. You know, if you try to piece all this stuff together, and some of you probably have tried to say, what's it going to cost me for channel art and doing a thumbnail and all this content strategy, editing for, you know, everything on there, weekly support. I mean, it can add up if you try to piece all this stuff together. But before I get into what the real cost is, let me share with you a quick story. And now we're tying it back to the heart, right? And I end with my story for a reason. I feel like, have I earned the right to tell you my story now? You're all curious? So, let me tell you my story. It's going to be hard to follow Steve's. That's me, you know, in high school, working the weekends at the flea market. And this is for those of you that have doubt. I'm really not anybody special, but I tell you what, I will work my tail off. I will outwork anybody, I promise you that. But the thing is I grew up in a small town called Stephenville, Texas. It's about 2 hours south of Dallas. If you're not milking cows or riding bulls, there's really not much else to do there. And my parents didn't go to college. My two older brothers didn't go to college. And I was raised, my parents had a poor man's mentality, which was, we can't afford that. You can't afford that. We can't afford that. I was told my whole life, they didn't go to college, so they didn't understand student aid and scholarships and all that stuff. They just said, they thought you just had to pay cash, and therefore we don't have the money, so you're not going to go to college. So I thought my whole life growing up, I'm not going to go to college. My two older brothers didn't go to college, so that's the path I'm going. But also I just hustled on the weekends, worked the flea markets, you know, trying to sell some gold. I mean, I was really intrigued by infomercials, right? And so, but that was our paneled van behind us. That's how we traveled. We did one summer vacation a year, and it was only to places we could drive to, you know, because we never flew. And we didn't stay in hotels. We pitched tents. We were the Griswolds. We were the ones, if you've ever seen National Lampoons, we did that traveling. Why? Again, because we only did what my parents thought we could afford or barely afford. And so I worked about a year after high school doing labor jobs, stocking shelves and mopping floors until I realized, you know what? This is not for me. I can't do this. I can't do this. I got to figure something else. So what do most country boys do, right? They join the military, I think, yeah. They join the military. Right, to get out of the small town. And I'm like, okay, this was 1999. And I was going, you know what? The world's at peace. The last Gulf War ended in 8 days. Nobody's going to mess with us, right? Everything's hunky-dory, no problems. I'm going to go in, going to get a little money for college, get out, you know, do my time. And that's what I went in for. That's why I got into the military, to get money for college. 1999, 2 years later, September 11th happens. And the next thing I know, I find myself deployed. And I was in the infantry, and I was a sergeant, and got sent to Baghdad. And I ran gun trucks. I was quick reaction force, combat patrols, base camp security in the middle of Baghdad in 2005. Not the best time to be there. I'll just tell you right now. So, you know, I made it through that 12 months, an entire 12 months in a combat zone. And I made it through that, and I got out, and, you know, CrossFit was kind of becoming a thing right there. I've always been a pretty healthy guy. I played high school football, Friday Night Lights in Texas. That's a real thing. And so I played high school football, got into the military. Military kept me in shape. I've always been actually kind of the way I am now, about, you know, 190, 200 pounds. Been that way my whole life. And so whenever I got out, wanted to get my mind off of things. The next thing I know, I just got to get back into exercise, right? And CrossFit was coming around. I was like, oh, CrossFit is kind of cool. You can see, hey, I could do handstands, all kinds of cool stuff. But the problem was I came home from Iraq with the digestive disease. And it messed with me on and off for about 8 years. Until 2013 came. And then I lost 50 pounds in a single month. And I became bedridden and disabled. And it nearly killed me. And for 3 months, this was the most excruciating time in my life, most excruciating pain I've ever been through. I would have rather been back in Iraq than to go through what I went through for this time period. When you lose 50 pounds in a month through digestive diseases, it was terrible. It nearly killed me. And the thing was that, every night when I tried to go to bed, because I wasn't sleeping, I thought there's no way I'm going to wake up the next day, because my body was so broken, and mentally I was broken. And I went to 4 different GI doctors, and they threw the kitchen sink at me. Medications, steroids, IV antibiotics. They even got to the point where they said, hey, we're going to remove your colon, and that'll cure you. That was their solution. 4 different GI doctors, they all told me the same thing. You'll never be cured. You're going to have this for the rest of your life. If you make it through this, you'll be on medications forever. But if you want to get over this, we're going to cut out your colon and give you a colostomy bag. I was 33 years old at the time. But it was by God's grace that I didn't give up, and I found a natural doctor. And the natural doctor was like, well, hey, let's just change your diet and put you on some vitamins. I was like, wait, what? Change my diet? I'm like, these 4 doctors told me diet doesn't matter. He said, no, let's change your diet, put you on some vitamins. Within 3 weeks, I started to gain back weight and started to get better. And then the medical doctors are calling me, and I'm like, I ain't going back to y'all. After 3 weeks, I got my appetite back, and I was able to start to recover. And it ended up taking me a full year to recover, but I recovered 100% natural with no medication and no surgery. I still have my colon today. This is almost 10 years ago. The reason I share that with you is because Steve just said it right before this. It's going to come down to choices. It's going to come down to decisions. And see, the thing is that, my life is probably a lot like your life. It's full of ups and downs, right? And the thing is that, hey, kindergarten through 12th grade was pretty good. I was on an uphill trajectory, right? Things were going well. I joined the military. I thought that was going to be kind of easy, but then I got deployed. Huge mental setback. Why? Because whenever I was there, we lost 2 of our team members. And in Iraq, you don't get days off. You don't get time to feel sorry for yourself. You don't even get time to mourn. And if you're on mission, you're not going to the funeral. Half of our guys miss the funerals for our teammates because you have to complete the mission. You're told, there is no choice. You have to complete the mission. You have to move forward. I'm in my early 20s. The only thing was I made a decision that I can remember before going to Iraq, and I was scared to go. But I just told myself, no matter what happens, I have to take it day by day. I have to not let it grab a hold of my mental state or else. And we had several people. We've lost 4 more of our team members to suicide after coming home because people can't handle it. But I was able to come out of that. I got into work. I got into a pharmaceutical job. I started to do really well. For the next 8 years, I just, climbed that corporate ladder, did better and better, and then I got sick. And I became disabled, and I had to go on medical leave. I thought medical leave was for babies, weak people. That's what I thought, and then here I am on medical leave. And the thing is I ended up losing my job because after 90 days, when the medical leave was up, they wanted me to come back to work, and I wasn't physically able. So that's whenever I had to start my business, and I started my financial services business in my recovery because I realized, well, I'm not going to have a job probably ever again if I'm going to be in this sort of condition. I didn't understand how my recovery was going to be, so I started a financial services business. And I got contracts with Dallas Independent School District, and I started working with teachers on retirement planning. And every single year got better than the next year. 2019 was my best financial year ever. 2020, the first quarter, was my best financial year ever. And then what happened in 2020? Everything shut down. School shut down, the place where I do business. And I watched my business shut down overnight. So that's what happened in the summer of 2020, is my business shut down. And I sat there, and the thing is, I'm sorry, I didn't watch Tiger King over the summer. I sat there and I realized I'm 41 years old and I'm starting over. I'm like, how am I in this position? How could I possibly be here? Where did I go wrong in my life at 41 where I'm starting over? And here, Michael Reese still texting me about getting into real estate like he's been doing for the last 18 years. And I watched real estate start to grow over 2020. And I go, well, and then he's telling me about this EXP thing. And I saw the model and I understood it, but I wasn't interested whenever I saw it. So actually I saw this even a year and a half before 18 months ago. I think, Clark, you were talking about that, or you saw this 4 years ago. I saw it 18 months before the last 18 months, so I could be at the 4-year mark right now. But I wasn't interested. It wasn't the right time for me. But now here I was going, okay, well, how do I start over? And then I realized I'm not starting over. I've got 20 years of experience. I've got 20 years of ups and downs of sales and marketing. And you know what? One thing they can't take away from me, Chosen said it, he spent 20 years building the skills. You can't take my skills away. You can't take away my work ethic. Can't do it. So what am I going to do? But now I had to ask myself different questions. Clark talked about that too. You asking yourself different questions, right? I said, where did I go wrong? 3 times I've gone to 0. Where did I go wrong? I wasn't leveraged. Everything depended on me. Outside forces affected my business. It wasn't because I quit. It's because of everything else that I didn't put into place and I didn't protect myself against. So this time I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to figure out how to do this. I'm going to attract business. Well, how can I do that? Well, social media, because I was like, I'm probably not going to do it unless I spend $50,000 on postcards, right? Trying to brand myself with every other postcard agent out there. But I can do something on social. So I looked at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. None of those platforms just didn't sit well with me. It wasn't in my gut. Something told me that's not for me. But then I discovered YouTube is not a social media platform. It's a search engine. And I was like, if I can find what people are searching for, and I just put my information, and the thing is, I don't know anything about real estate, but I know a lot about Dallas, and that's what they're searching for, so I can put myself. And so that's what I did. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to spread myself over giving 20% effort across 5 social media platforms. I'm going to pick one, and I'm going all in, period. And I'm going to give it everything I've got until the wheels fall off. And if it does, then I'm moving to the Caribbean and making tacos on the beach, because that was my exit strategy. That was my backup plan, because I wasn't sure. When I started this, I had no clue it was going to work. All I knew is I gave myself 1 year. I was like, I'm going to do this for 1 year no matter what. I'm going to focus on this one thing and put everything. I'm going to learn everything I can about YouTube. I'm going to create, I'm going to publish, and I'm going to repeat over and over and over again. And so that's what I did. And so I'm going to close it out with this and say, you know, you've got to choose your hard. You're going to have to choose your hard. You know, it's hard working out, but to me, it's a lot harder being sick. I've been there. You know, it's hard. It's hard owning a business, but to me, it's a lot harder having a job. And it's hard making videos, but to me, it's a lot harder making calls. So I'd rather make the videos. But let me put it in perspective. You see, last year we generated 1.3 million in my first year, and I made 160 videos. So if you divide that by the commission, by the amount of videos, that's like making $8,100 a video. So if I offered any one of you in here $8,100 to make a video, would you make a video? Yeah, you'd say, how many can I make? But the first quarter of this year, it generated 1.4 million, and I only made 21 videos. So that's like making $68,000 a video. And if I asked you, could I pay you $68,000 a video, would you make a video? Probably so. So you're going to have to choose your hard. So that's where I move into this, and I show people, like, we've built out the digital course, so now I show them, hey, we've got a process for this. We've got it. We've got the game plan laid out. That's it. And I walk them through that. And then I ask them, what do you believe? And here's where I close out. And I'll finish up with this. I believe if you're not where you want to be, it's just because you haven't learned something yet. Michael Reese says that all the time. But I also believe you can hyper-learn any subject in the next 60 days. With blogs, YouTube, Google, books, the information's out there. Pick one thing and learn it. You study it. You study it to a T. That means no Netflix, none of this taking time off. It's like, no, I'm going to learn. Instead of watch Netflix, watch a YouTube video on how to make videos instead of watching Netflix. And I believe if you take massive actions, focus on that one thing, you can completely change your business, period. I know it can. So that's where I do the closeout, and that's it. And that's how we do the business that we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Hold on. Stay here for 1 second. So here's the deal. Half of you like, I'm in. I'm going to hyper learn. I'm going to do the test marketing budget instead of a marketing budget.
Yeah, testing budget.
Testing budget.
Yep.
And you're like, hey man, the other half of you are just defeated. Like, I can't do this. And so for the half of you that are defeated, you have a niece or a nephew who's 10. Who will help you do this? The 12-year-olds, the 14-year-olds. They say, I will help pay. Uncle Brent's going to help pay for college. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this together. I'm going to set aside 10% of all the profits. My partner on the 10% program, and there's a little bonuses thrown in. He's making like $175,000 a month, not a year, on the 10% program. And you look at some of the numbers he has there, go, uncle or auntie plans on doing this, and you're gonna hyper focus and hyper learn, get it over with in 60 days, go all in. But I'm telling you, what he just shared can give you a life you never dreamed of. And it's not magic, it's motion. Get in motion, recruit maybe you have a 28-year-old son, a 35-year-old daughter, a 21-year-old neighbor. I don't know what you gotta do. Most people would like another income stream. They work for the county, they work for the state, they have a corporate job. Build the dream with them. Sit down and we recorded this. Look at the cameras. How much gear do we have here recording this today, Ray? Real quick, top of your head, what do you think? $50,000 worth of gear. It's lit. We're going to be able to, you can watch this again and again, but watch them say, do you want to do this with your uncle? Do you want to do this with your dad, your mom, grandpa, or grandma? Because you may be doubting that you can do this, but is that a good plan, a bad plan for the ones who are like just not sure?
Just start.
Just start. It's not magic, it's motion. Clark is the reason Levi's here. It's not me. You have not because you asked not. Clark called up Levi, and Clark, get up here. And Levi is here because of Clark Broom. Give Clark a hand. Thank you, buddy.
Levi, appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
So how do you like it so far today?